there. And it seemed like it was all about the show. And it was like these
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have our final speaker for the first day of the Grove Alberta Symposium.
What's the point? Oh, I didn't get anyone. Restaurant.
It's Mr. Vern Petersen of the medical clinic. Very Vern Petersen is the Director of Recruitment and Acquisition with the Canadian Medical Clinic and selects and interviews physicians across Canada and assists and directs potential international physicians coming to Canada, and he locates potential medical clinics. So come and enjoy the speaking without any more delay, or are we going to wait? Everyone's going to come here. I'll sit there.
Will you?
Yeah.
Hey, accountant. There, accountant.
There they come. Ladies and gentlemen.
Are we on camera?
We are. Mr. Vern Petersen. Thank you so much.
Yes, here I am. I never met a Mike I didn't like. Yeah. So, I'm going to tell you a little different story than before, because some of you heard my other story. Canada probably has the best pancake syrup in the world, like renowned. We also are pretty good at staying warm in the winter. Probably Russia knows how to do that too. But what else we're really good at is we're really, really good at manufacturing fierce, ferocious, amazing hockey players. And there's a lot of cool things about Canada. It's the second largest landmass in the world. It's a country with the second largest landmass. We have an amazing medical system, which gets a lot of bad commentary because of the waiting times, which is lack of doctors. But really, the idea of you not having to pay for the sustenance of human life is pretty good down to earth, well meant. But one thing that Canada is not doing well at right now is that 25% of Canadians don't have doctors. So I had a headhunting company, and we would get calls from nursing homes saying we need nurses. Then I started to realize this about a year ago how bad it was to get nurses. And the HR department usually they don't like nurses because they feel they failed at their job. Their boss said, call this guy. So it's not always a fun talk. But I remember one said, I don't know how you're going to find them because I can't find them. And so when somebody says to me, you're never going to find nurses, that's all I need, right? I had the plate under my ass and I was looking for nurses. And then I realized that the clinics needed doctors worse than the old age homes needed nurses. I started to do my research. 25% of Canadians don't have a doctor. And wow. And I was blown away because we know how to make doctors right here in U of A, manufacture a family physician. We know how to do that. Proofs in the pudding. But we don't have enough doctors to see the patients. Why is that? Why can't we fix that? We can go to the moon. We're getting ready to go to Mars. Why can't we fix this? So I was thinking, this isn't right. I want to attack this. And I've done a lot of things as an entrepreneur. Like Ish shared, most of us fail far more than we succeed, and that's true for me too. I've had many failures in business and a few successes, and I've learned, if you're tenacious and you keep your head to the grinding stone, you might make it. And so this is my final attack, because this is a big project, and I'm old now, and I want to make this my last mission, and I feel really good about it because I think it's a good thing for the country. Because 25% of people don't have a doctor, they don't get to take advantage of early detection, which is like so amazing. Early detection of things that we can help with, that's like a no-brainer. You know, that's like, if I only would have looked, I would have known. Now, there are some pretty sad, scary diseases. Pancreatic cancer is not a good one, you know. And cholangiocarcinomas, that's what took my father out. But if you get, you know, prostate cancer early stage, you're not dying. You know, nowadays, if you have AIDS, you're not dying. So these are pretty awesome things, but they require early detection. So, anyways, I thought to myself, okay, I know I can get doctors because I'm a good salesman, and I also believe I can do the impossible. Let's look at the business model. So I started looking at the business model, and it was not exciting. Clinics have torn seats, ugly signs, no branding. There's no money. So here we have doctors being paid too much, clinic has no profit, and this has gone on for years and years and years. Why would it continue? Because there's not enough doctors. The doctors say, this is how much it costs. And nobody's doing anything about it. And you can't say to doctors, please take less so that, you know, we can make more money and open more clinics. It's just a big mess, and it kind of stays in a stagnated situation. So I thought, okay, Tim Hortons has 3,800 franchises or locations. Why? Because they have profit to pay for nice signs, nice buildings, adequate staff, uniforms, nice, posh, and money to pay dividends to investors. All this equates success. Shoppers Drug Mart, CRC, blah, blah, blah. So, Canada's medical clinics, let's put 1,000 clinics across Canada. Let's start with 250 clinics as fast as we can. The biggest clinic company in Canada has 150. It's called Primacy. They're in Loblaw stores, and they rent all their locations and deal with Loblaws, okay? They're a pretty good model. They're the best we got so far. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to keep this all the way until there's no more doctor shortage. Until it's to the point where we don't need any more doctors, we're good. Now, to do that, I need to have profit to do that. So, clinics right now, it costs about 17 to 22% to run a clinic. So if you're Medicenters and you're paying 78 to 80% to your doctors, you're an accountant, not happy. So therefore, I need 35% for my clinics. Let's say it costs 22% to run the clinic. I've got some money to pay dividends to investors. I can buy nice signs, nice buildings, have amazing staff, have scrubs and uniforms and everything's looking good, and have extra staff to support the doctors so they have a good work-life balance. So they don't work all day and then charge for 3 hours. They actually go home at the end of the day. So that sounds good. Okay, now I've got 65% left to compensate my physicians. Now, if I stand up and pick a time, I got 60%, come and work for me. They're going to say, nice clinic, but no thanks. And then the next guy's going to pick a time, I got 70% I'm paying, lion's share of my doctor. No, that's okay. Medicenter is 80%. So they run over to Medicenter. But one thing about doctors that I noticed, and I've come to realize, they're like frogs jumping from lily pad to lily pad. Because the grass is greener. This guy's an asshole, I don't want to work there. There's not enough staff here, I work too hard. I make a higher percentage over here, but then I work like a dog, they're just jumping all over. Okay? So there's no margins, there's no support, problem. One other quick thing we gotta squeeze in. If I'm a doctor and I decide I want to own my own clinic, I buy a clinic, I work really hard, I don't pay enough attention to running my business because I'm a doctor, not the best businessman, because they spend all their time in school instead of losing their ass and building their tuition of education as an entrepreneur. And I find out that, well, because I'm a doctor, I do probably $800 grand a year. So my bank's full. See, when I'm an entrepreneur like Ish and I, when we had our first businesses, one day there was no money in the bank. And we were done. But doctors don't have that happen. Because my practice does $800 grand. The other 3 doctors that work for me do their thing. And unless I have a good accountant like yourself that says, Vern, you're subsidizing your clinic out of your own practice, I may go 20, 30 years and not even realize I've been losing money. That's the scary part. So there's no retirement for the doctor. He gets to the end of his lifespan, he wants to sell his business. Ish says, sorry, your financials are garbage. Because they are. He puts a stethoscope in the drawer, closes the drawer. That's the last bell ring on the cash register. No more money coming in, no retirement. So here's my solution. 35% margin stays in the clinic. More than enough to run many clinics, beautiful clinics with amazing staff. 65% is what I have to pay the doctors, and like I said, if I say I'll pay you 60, I'll pay you 70, we're going to go to the 80. So what I do different is I say, Dr.-ish, I'm going to give you 60%. Now, if you can help me with my biggest problem and bring me a friend of yours as a doctor to come and join us together as we help fight this problem in Canada, I want to make you a partner. So you bring me Dr. Colleen. Dr. Colleen gets 60% as well, but Dr. Ish gets 5% of Colleen. Little sprinkle of Amway. Now, Dr. Ish is my partner because he's helped me recruit someone. Back to the doctor that has his own clinic, and he has 3 doctors working for him that he pays too much. He does not see 5% high and dry profit out of each of those doctor's practices, does he? No, he's actually paying money negatively the other way to subsidize it. But every doctor that Dr. Ish brings to me, whether they work in the next office or whether they work in New Brunswick in one of our other clinics, he gets 5% high and dry off every doctor he recruits. If some doctors gross 200 grand, some gross 800 grand. For the sake of discussion, I pick an average number and I say 500 grand for calculation purposes. Now, most doctors I talk to like this more than that. I go, good. So when I tell you these numbers, you're not going to say they're unrealistic. They're below realistic. So if Dr. Ish grosses 500 grand and he gets paid 60%, he makes $300,000. If he brings in Colleen and he gets 5% override, he gets $25,000 a year from her. Or he gets 65% equivalence of his own. So if he brings in 4 doctors, he's now at the equivalent or par of an 80% take on his commission. If he brings in 8 doctors, he's at the par of his net equaling his gross. And that is impossible for any other clinic. If he brings in 12 doctors, what's he at? 120% of his, it gets to be crazy. Soon his net could be at equal to his gross. So to say, hey, I'm just going to recruit doctors, I'm not going to be a doctor anymore, that's not good either. That's why one of the Amway's things is we've got to sell soap, not just find Amway reps. And Amway, some people think, oh, MLM. It's not MLM, it's only one level, so it's more of a referral system. But there's no knocking Amway. If I would have started Amway, that'd be a pretty cool thing. Amway's an amazing company and it's very big. Very complicated metrics of mathematics, though. We don't need to go there. We also don't even want to try to explain that to a doctor. It's like, right? But they can handle the 1% level. Now, when Dr. Ish finds 10 doctors, okay, 250 grand a year, takes him 2 years, easy. Now he's making 250 residual. Now he retires, guess what? Keep your 250 a year. Why would I screw with that? Because that comes from the people that he's recruited, from their gross, that comes from the 65% allocation that I have, that I can afford to do. So if I have 35% gross profit margin in the clinics, which is unheard of, no clinic company in the country has a GPM of 35%. But I have 65 on my other fund. Why would I not give Colleen's 5% to Dr. Mission if he retired? But because he can't just retire the first day he starts, he has to work for 5 years to be able to do that. Now, when he passes away, and I hope that's a long way away, I'm in good shape. He's going to will it until his money. It is never going to stop until Colleen retires. Then it will diminish a bit. And after Ish retires, what if he keeps recruiting? No problem. So his residual could actually increase. Or his residual would at least keep going up as his team retired. So Dr. Ish, when he starts, and he starts recruiting, the chances are that older doctors are going to recruit younger doctors. But either way, it doesn't make any difference. So just before I shut up, I was sitting with the team 6 months ago when we were brainstorming and tweaking this thing and shooting holes in it. And I said, so I buy a clinic that's been shut down for a while, and I meet the janitor of the clinic. And the janitor says, I know a doctor that used to work here that would love to work for you, Vern, because the guy that was here, you didn't like him. Do you want his number? Yeah. And then the janitor says, can I have something off of that? I thought, why would I give him 5%? Why? It wouldn't hurt anything. But then one of my friends said, no, the 5% to the doctor, The doctors are arrogant. They feel they're special. You got to leave it so that only a doctor can recruit a doctor. So I thought, maybe he probably has a point, but at the same time, I would never say no to any doctor that wants to come and join. So how do I skin this cat? So I thought, okay, the janitor gets 2% of the course. And only doctors can recruit doctors in the CMC model. So I'm going to say, Ish, can I give you a free doctor? Ish is going to say yes. I'm going to give him the free doctor, but the free doctor only gives him 3%, not 5. But he doesn't mind because it's free. The janitor gets 2%. So the other day, I'm interviewing physicians, I'm talking to people and doing my thing, living my life in my office. The alarm guy's there at one of our new clinics, right? And he's listening all day. And then he goes, hey, can I do this? I go, 100%. He goes, I have a doctor. So yesterday he texted me, can I have the script? I'm ready to go talk to him. So I reminded him, you're an alarm guy. You're a doctor. You're this, you're that. I'm the closer, but more important, I'm the one that wrote this story. I probably, maybe might be the best guy to tell this story at this point. So let me do it for you. Just bring me the guy. Don't, you know what I mean? Don't water it down with a person that has a broken English situation or whatever. And I mean, probably Ed can tell my story better. Give him a little bit of time, right? I'm not saying I'm the best, but right now, I'm the best guy I have for this story. So if any of you know a doctor, it's worth 10 grand a year to you until they retire. And on and on and on. Now, I have too many doctors, right now, too many doctors. So I'm like, I need to get investors to buy more clinics. So I'm on the inside out of the problem that every clinic has. So if you have a doctor that has a clinic and he wants to buy another clinic and he's Mr. Entrepreneur Doctor, guaranteed I can sit with him and make him more money with my system. And we'll still buy the clinics and sell, no problem. Or we'll figure out a way to skin the cat where you can get ongoing percentages for it if you're in the business of selling businesses. So I'm very excited, and I thank you for, again, listening to me, because some of you heard me before. No, I'm like a broken record, CD. But thank you. Thank you. You got it.
One of your biggest selling features is
How many? Yeah, because I have power staff.
because my clinic is
Daryl's got a question too.
all right. So, I have a long-term, I finally found a doctor, last 2 years. And a few months ago, I went back to see him. It's made sense too long. It's only been 2 years, like 2, 3 years. And they were taking patients, I go in, and all of a sudden, the pharmacy's open, but the clinic's closed. And they're like, oh, no doctors in it. And I'm like, what? So then, the next day, there was the clinic's open, the pharmacy's open. And you go in, and then the med center's closed. It said, doctor will be in at 6 p.m. Right? I had COVID. I thought I had COVID. I'm just saying, like, that's, and my Chinese, this doctor had a really, really good Chinese guy who was only been a doctor for a year. And he's in Windsor, actually. But I'm just, there's a clinic.
Yeah.
In the living room. And it just.
You know, they're so desperate for doctors that they have to put up with the doctor saying, pay me this much. It's like a union mentality. And they also have to put up with whatever hours the doctor will give them, kind of thing. So now that we have more margins, we can run like a proper business a little bit better. So what happens with Windermere, grand opening November 1st, I'm in the office there. My office is in an examination room. And then when the grand opening happens, I'll move to my optical clinic as it gets renovated, and I'll pop around like that. And every day I'm in there, sitting in my office, all day people come in. field. And so I'm thinking, we have to bring in, like the IMGs take time, right? But once you start planting the seeds, the plants will grow, right? So they'll be ready for harvest in different stages. So if we start working on IMGs now and we work on them all the time, there's always going to be IMGs ripening. And when IMGs come, my thing is, okay, you go where we need you to go for 24 months. Then we'll put you in whatever city you want to live in after that. We're the only company that can do that because we're going to have clinics everywhere, right? And so what we want to do is we have to schedule it so that there's a new doctor in a clinic all the time, so the walk-ins can be, to answer your question, so the walk-ins can be all the time. So then then you got to take one of those doctors and you got to move into another clinic, put another new one in there, because once the doctors get comfortable and they have enough patients, lots of them aren't workaholics. They're just, oh, this is cool. They'll just idle. I think they'll even be idling more with my game, because they'll be spending time calling all their friends from med school, you know? So I'm actually feeding a bit of that problem, but it's in the end. Yeah.
Why wouldn't somebody else pick the big idea?
Oh, I'm sure that they will. That's why I have to go super fast.
Yeah.
And super hard, and do nothing but this, you know, and delegate everything else. That's why right now I have a team coming in to design my Bible policy manual, how to cookie cutter this whole thing. Literally the other day, I went to Home Depot and I ordered fridges and dishwashers for 2 clinics, and they came to deliver them when I was in my office, and they wouldn't fit through the door. So I had to go back. So I thought, procedure manual. Measure all door openings when you're going to the new clinic, right? Every single thing. If you want to open hundreds of clinics really fast, you need the Bible, right? That's how McDonald's does it. Tim Hortons. Any other questions?
Yeah, but you take over, so the guys, like I said, blood doctors or business, got a clinic, would you take over their clinic?
Yeah. So if there's a doctor and he goes, I like this, because he's, especially like my medical director, he's 76, he wants to hang his hat up in 2 years. So I took him on, made him my medical director, and I told him he was my poster child. So I could brag about him and do an interview. How are you? Oh, now I'd love to see him making $240,000 a year. So he's getting ready for the video, right? And so I told him I would give him 12 doctors. The first 12 doctors that I get. Because pretty soon I won't be getting doctors anymore. I'll just be closing, right? So I'm going to give him 12 doctors. He's already got 4 now. He's going to be making $250,000 a year. And he's going to hang up his stethoscope in 2 years, and I'm still going to let him keep his residual. If they're older, you know, if you go to a clinic that is existing, and the guy's a nice guy, and he sees the light of what I'm telling, then I'm gonna give him a quick back door and make it short for him so he doesn't have to do the 5 years. Especially if his doctors, I can convince them as well. But my closing ratio is pretty strong, and if it's not, it's because I didn't do a good job of getting the point across. So I've created a video, and I've done dry erase boards, I've tried everything to explain the boom, boom, boom underneath part. And then when they're, oh, I don't think I can get any doctors or not a talker like you, then I give them a doctor. Right? Because I have a basket of doctors of 3%ers because of all the people that are just not even working for me that are now working for doctors. So it's kind of worked out well. Any other questions?
Do you know where IT or is it all general practitioners or general?
No, so one of our doctors, she is a fertility expert. She's probably the second of, there's 2 of her in Alberta that went to the special school in the States. She knows how to help somebody get pregnant. Like all the cool tricks and ideas. Is it? So she like is going, oh, you know, $250, and she's not even doing it right. So I said, hey, let's put a marketing package together, right? Like $5,000, $2,500 your first visit, $5,000 package, because they're paying $20,000 right, for some of them. revenue that's not going through Medicare, but income in doctor's name, same split, nothing changes. Another guy is our erectile dysfunction expert, talking about this machine that you put your penis in. No, that's right. and you do that instead of taking pills. And in some places, there's examples that he says the company that sells the machine will show me. But I better give you the truth. And that they gross like 40 grand a month with this machine. He said, would you buy the machine? I said, well, if my board says it's okay, and nobody's penis falls off, probably we would buy the machine. You know, if it passed liability and it was logical. So there's a specialty on the side, right? So then another guy from Calgary that owns so many buildings, this billionaire guy, he's like, you need to open a surgery center in Red Deer so people that need hips and knees don't have to go to Edmonton or Calgary. I'm like, oh, that's like, wow. But really, what's wrong with that, right? Really, it's the same game. It just takes delegation. Find somebody that used to run a surgery center somewhere. Please cookie cutter that. Boom, boom, boom. So I think that we got to go hard and fast because it'll be fun, which is flattering.
How many clinics you have under this brand?
Oh, right now, brand new clinic opening November 1st. Clinic number 1.
Only one.
Ottawa clinic January 1st. Then by March, 1 a month. And then by 25, 3 a month.
Clinic, that is the name you are given?
Yeah, Canada's Medical Clinic. So it's in Windermere. And if you want to come...
This is like a franchise type scheme, or what is that?
No, it is not a franchise, and it is not a scheme. No, it's what we do is this. So in the beginning, we were thinking, okay, we'll lease all the buildings. But then, investors started to go, I like this. And I didn't get any, I don't like this. I didn't get any negatives. I got overwhelming positives, just like overwhelming doctors. So I realized it's going to be easier than I thought to get investor money. So now, wait a minute, let's do the Ray Kroc model, like McDonald's. So, CFO Sonnenberg, or Born, said a few years ago with McDonald's, we're not really in the burger business, we're in the real estate business. So now, we're creating a holding company that buys buildings and leases them to CMC. So this is also nice, because if you're an investor, and you think, what if a doctor, is what I said, kills a patient? What happens? Well, malpractice of a subcontractor doctor is phenomenal, and it does stay in its own envelope. But what if they figure out a way that, because the lighting is bad in the clinic, they're going to bring the clinic in? So every clinic is its own numbered company, leasing from arm's length holding company. So investors are all only in the holding company of real estate assets. So Canada decides no more Medicare, and we have to shut down all the clinics. Your investor money is protected in real estate assets, or which is totally not going to happen. Right? Number two, nobody ever gets sick again and needs a doctor. We're out of business, but it's okay because we have a lot of real estate assets, right? I like to create these examples, especially when we have the biggest problem in Canada, we have a solution, and if you do open a clinic, and you put a sign that says, taking patients, you have a lineup till you're dead of customers with no commissions to pay the salesman. It's like an entrepreneur's dream. That's why I'm in the game, is because I have endless customers, I don't have to have an army of salesmen, and I get paid. So in Canada, in Ontario, OHIP pays the claims, Medicare claims, in 30 days. British Columbia, MSP pays the claims in 14 days. Alberta pays the claims in 7 days. So for cash flow, as an entrepreneur, what problems would you start in? That's why I moved from Vancouver to the winter to oversee it, right? And in BC, when you go to the doctor and you say, my doctor said, Vern, here's your blood pressure script, and Vern, you need to lose a little weight. Okay, just to be honest. That took 4 minutes. That creates category B2 or whatever billing. And it brings in $42. Actually, I was very shocked at how low all these items, the cost of them is. That's why they want so many patients. So anyways, the same one, $42, in Alberta is $58. So Alberta, because it's always been the richest, has made everything the best for its people, pretty much in the whole country, in a lot of areas. No GST, so it actually has the fastest payments of Medicare to its clinics. It has the highest item tag ticket amount, just like that example I gave. So it's definitely the place to be from a state design.
All clinics, same size, square footage, same amount of doctors, and then they after hours come to walking clinics, or just Monday, Friday, and Saturday, Sunday.
We're actually, like, for example, Windermere, so we know realistically to roll it out really fast that we have to lease buildings as well. So we're going to say lease 15 to 20% maximum and buy the rest. Like in Windermere, I could not get this killer location if I did lease, because it's all owned in that area. And this is a 10 examination room, 5 doctor office clinic. The norm is 1 doctor office, 2 examination rooms. So the doctor's always got a patient with a good staff. I think with a good staff, you could probably go 6 doctors and examination rooms. But that has to be proven. But I think with really good staff, you can do that. Now, the Otwell Clinic, when we renovate it, we're going to buy the whole plaza. So we're going to be able to have 9 doctors. But already, I can tell with Windermere, I wish it was bigger. And I think I got to thank God and be grateful, because this system that I'm describing is giving me this overwhelming amount of doctors. So I don't think we'll ever have a clinic that's any smaller. Here's a good example that came up. You take a little town in somewhereville, population very little, and you do the business model, and it says it's not big enough to support a clinic. There's not enough business, right? So what do? So we do virtual patients in our virtual program. So because we're running it with a call center that runs all the clinics, so when you call in to Air Canada, you don't call Edmonton Airport, you call the call center. And the call center books your flight from this blah, blah, blah. So when you call in to our call center, you call the call center, the monitor pops up. We're just right now designing this system, and that identifies a winner in a clinic because of the number they called, identifies that monitor. Then the number of who's calling identifies the patient and the doctor, right? So that data is on 2 monitors right in front of me. I go, hey, call me. We wanted to see your doctor. Okay, so we make an appointment on my 3rd monitor, which is my EMR, book her appointment. All this is done in the call center. It does not need to be done in the clinic. So once the call center is really rocking, then if you want to open a new clinic, it's way easier, right? You don't have to worry about that part. That element's removed. Plus, if your clinic needs 2.5 people to answer its incoming calls, you have to round up to 3. If that clinic needs 3.5, you got to round up to 4. But with the call center, you take advantage of true needs, and you're going to save money in the big picture. Plus, the call center inside out becomes the IMG hotline. Because when you call now, we had a guy come from Libya, flew here for an interview, just phenomenal. And he goes, yeah, I'm so glad I called College of Physicians and Surgeons Canada, and it took 2 days to get a call back, and they don't even know anything. They say, what province do you want to go to? Because he wanted to know the criteria to come to Canada to be a doctor. He wants to come and be a doctor. He's a good doctor. And like somebody said earlier, all this horse shit in the way, and we can't have doctors. So he can't even, now finally they say, where do you want to go? Well, how does he know? He doesn't even know what a province is. So finally he calls Alberta Symposium Vern. Takes 2 days to get a call back again. Then they say, well, you got to do this and this and this. And no fault of theirs, but they're paid a salary to read off their mandate, And then he goes, oh, okay, what about Saskatchewan? We go, oh, we're going to call Saskatchewan, right? So we want our call center to be like a helpline for IMGs. Even if they want to work somewhere else. But if they did, we'll still help them. Because we will know, in fact, right now, Honestly, I know more about other provinces' criteria than Alberta CPSA. They don't care, they don't need it, right? And now I learn other provinces are competing with each other, and dropping the bar in areas to get doctors. So when we get a doctor from a certain country with various criteria, I can send him to a better province than Alberta, maybe. Like Newfoundland right now, if you're a doctor and you promise to work there for 24 months, $200,000 signing bonus. Like all the provinces are stealing from each other and doing it. So we just want to go everywhere really fast. Any other questions?
Are you good pharmacy?
Yeah. As much as we can. Obviously, when you're not good. Otwell has one. Actually, the Otwell pharmacist that was there is now buying in to the company and so excited that she doesn't want to do more pharmacies. She doesn't have that. Huh?
Are you able to do online consultation and still get paid?
The what?
The online?
Yes. So there's a good point. So you're in Windermere Clinic, Dr. Colleen is working hard, and all of a sudden we have a 3 p.m. patient. So they strategically set it up, tell the patient to be there at 2:45, even though it's Colleen's 3 o'clock appointment, because now we know by 5 to 3, if they're not there, they're afloat, right? So now I'm one of the girls up front. Hi, Colleen. Your 3 o'clock's a no-show. Would you like a break, or would you like me to send in a virtual? So now, because we have the money, 35% margins, every equipment, every examination room has beautiful TV Zoom action capabilities. So Colleen says, no, I'll take a virtual. She sits down, and here's a guy from another province or from this province, and she does an appointment, right? So now it helps maintain her revenue in the day due to the flaky loss of patients, and it takes out of the virtual basket at the same time. Now, most doctors, interestingly enough, if I'm an Alberta certified physician, I cannot go to BC and work in a clinic until I get certified. But if I'm an Alberta certified physician and you call from BC, I can help you. Except for Quebec.
We don't talk about that. How about the dollar amount? Is it still $58?
It's because it's CPSA and my clinic's AHS,
Yeah.
then my billing takes over.
And 42 for BC patient.
Yeah, but that doesn't apply if they call me.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's, the dollar amount is same whether you're in person or virtual.
Oh, yeah. Oh, another good point. So, the medical director that came with the first clinic I bought, first of all, I started to get into it. I can't buy clinics unless I'm a doctor or I have a medical director. So I find a medical director. Now, his wife is like a billing master. I don't know how I got so lucky. So she's like 35 years of running clinics, taking them from paper to computer. Now, what do you get with that? You know, you business brokers know. It could be one of those, look, I've been talking to women for 35 years, don't tell me how to do it, right? And then you just go, we're going to learn what I can and then bye-bye. Or, I got so lucky, she's like, oh, this is exciting, I'm so happy to be part of this order. Anything that your IT people want to bring in to help us, oh, that's so exciting. So now we get to take advantage of all her experience. Now she's involved in a lot of my physician interviews, and then she'll tell the physicians little nuggets, and she calls it leaving money on the table. These doctors have not got a clue how to properly bill. She teaches them, just in a couple words, oh, wow, I never thought of that. So I know for sure 15% gross enhancement in what they bring just with her. Maybe 20, yeah.
15 to 30.
Yeah. So that's exciting too. Like too much to do, I need your help. Everybody's help. And you can all make money at the same time.
You're starting up in first clinic.
First clinic, November 1st opens. I'm there now. It's all certified, insured, billing set up. Now the second one, all its billing is set up. It's scheduled for January 1st. The only reason it's not closer is because we got to renovate it all. Because we want it grand and make it really nice.
How many?
Pardon? Yeah, like you asked, when we talked about your situation, we're gonna try to always keep a fresh doctor who has no patients.
I'll tell you why I asked, so, you know, I'm in small town. The emergency there is like always 7 hours, you know, and there's only one walk-in clinic open on Sunday, for example. And it was the one I'm telling you, they're closed. But all these clinics, where everybody finds them at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, they all go in, and then it's like a 2-hour wait if you've never seen a doctor. But one of the clinics started booking you, even as a walk-in. You call them, and they'll book you a time as a walk-in, which, so you don't have to sit there for an hour.
Okay.
And they're just a small little clinic, but they're saying, just because they did that, now you can't even get it to walk-in because they were so busy.
Oh, no, that just reflects on the problem.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like literally, honestly, from the side of the demand of the customers, and now the phenomenal demand of doctors wanting to join, we are just dying to find clinics. So if you're in the game you're in, and if they already have a clinic and they're leasing, we can convert the team and figure out a way to pay you a percentage. And then you can go and find us our own building. And we can stay in that lease, if it's not ridiculous, run it to term as we get a new building. So we don't have to stop momentum of the patients or the revenue, right?
How many doctors do you have for this meeting?
For Windermere, I have right now 4 to open. I could go to 6, but I don't want to because I want everything to, yeah, just a bit. And then I could have a doctor in one day. And then Hopwell will have full capacity doctors. Easy, like beyond. Probably going to find other clinics that open before Hopwell that don't need renovations. I mean, literally, when we have the capital, you could just sign CPSA certification, AHS billing number, bam. Because one medical director can do a lot of things. And now we have people that want to be medical directors. So we're going to break it out, you know, maybe North Alberta, South Alberta, we don't know what's happening really fast. So if you have any ideas, you have any input, I am the beginning of this. I have quite a team already, but we're not greedy and we're not, we need help. We really are happy. We found a golden goose and it's dropping eggs all over. We're picking them up. Any other questions? Are you all coming for the day? Yeah? I think I might have to not be here tomorrow. But I think it's the same crowd. But I'm going to come the last day.
Tomorrow.
Pardon?
We'll be here tomorrow.
You'll be here? I'll be here. I'll go and do my interviews in the morning. Awesome. Thanks, Are you tired of me now?
Well,
Oh.
It's okay to speak, right? Yeah. I'll be here.
which meeting?
Unless you wear wigs.
High heels?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're doing that.
Well, this was really busy, my husband would go, but if it's gonna be, I'll come.
For doctors
I'll come up.
from the US? I'm pretty sure United States, Australia, Ireland, all 4. No tests to write. No MCC 31, no TDM. This is what I can do. The doctors from those countries that come here. Do you know doctors in the US?
We're going back now.
They're both specialists?
Well, that's what I was thinking, like,
Where are they in
They
the
don't
US?
want to come here. So I want to be preparing for them.
They wanna go to Ontario? Do they wanna go to Vancouver?
That's what I suggested.
Cause I
I
can,
want to get some more inside information,
yeah.
so I can submit it.
What kind of specialist? Neurologist? Okay. Awesome. Maybe you can come and visit me at my clinic. And we can get some more information, and we can put a proposal together to give them. And maybe if they like it, they can visit.
Yeah.
And you live here? Double reason to visit. Come and visit Dad.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
see, they are very expensive as well.
Will you be here in the morning yet?
Why do you live here?
The park.
I'm here in the morning, 100%.
Why do you live here?
He brought them here, probably, and they left.
To Edmonton?
I
Ah,
got my measurement of them.
oh, yeah, Edmonton is, did he go to U of A? Edmonton is a very, Alberta is good immigration, right? So many people come to Alberta, get their PR. Same with Saskatchewan, I had a farm. No, yeah. But you, that's why you came. That's why you were steered to Edmonton. So how did you find out about this?
Then going,
How do you know him?
oh, then we,
Oh, yeah?
he was a
Oh, yeah.
Even James, 10 years. Even James. Yeah.
I don't know if I need to record.
Did I give you mine?
No.
Right on, man.
Yeah, I got some doctors I know that.
Come and visit. We'll figure out ways to do all whatever.
Yeah. Because I mean, I don't know, in Windermere, there's a clinic, like a skin clinic. I don't even know what I'm talking about. It's massive. But,
Oh, I think do you know where Canadian Tire is?
yeah.
You know where CIBC is?
You're
So I'm right by Safeway.
You're in the shopping center.
No, I'm in a center where there's a dentist, my clinic, and an optometrist, CIBC, Safeway. I think that skin one is right over here.
Yeah. When you just get off Henday and you take
Yeah.
Rabbit Hill Road, you make a right. There's
Yeah.
a hotel on the left.
Yeah.
The building just past it
You know what's so cool about that area is anything I need
is there.
is there. Home Depot, Staples, all right there.
Yeah.
Good restaurants, the keg, everything.
A keg.
Keg, you like the keg?
I love it.
I know. Well, let's go.
Let's go.
Come on over, visit.
Yeah. That's good. That's my favorite cake. Sometimes I'm driving along. Take a cake, sit like a king.
You seem like you know, I have a guy friend in Ontario. I used to be able to take commercial videos. I used to write for Yeah. So anyway, that's why you're people with the product, you know, a whole game of grocery stores. All fine.
That's why I
Yeah. So. Yeah. So, but my friend said to me, Vern, he goes, when was the last time you said no to it? What do you mean? I never smiled at someone. You need to say no.
Different speakers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Tomorrow is Catherine Brownlee. She's the president of the Alberta Enterprise Group, which is Premier Smith's person with political action committee.
When did she speak?
11:30. Oh yeah, you've got to meet every one of these people. Man, you're here. Every single person you've impacted, and you've at least met 5 people that you meet.
Oh, I know.
And,
You know what
and,
I gotta
and we only have 25 people walking. Wait till we have 400, right? I believe it's coming time my ads drop today. It's going to be different for us. And
I don't think it will be that much this year. But that's okay. No, it's okay. It's, people make the connections amongst, like, all amongst ourselves.
Yeah, because the vendors won't.
No, you know that what it reminded me too. If you pretend that there's not going to be any attendance, if you just pretended that, and you strategically created such a mix that they would all be happy, you'd be able to